15-ish or so, I may have to bounce.
Yep, cool.
We're gonna
Just so
bounce
you guys
with Souza. We're gonna ride with you. Ride
Okay.
share.
Yeah,
I can teach you how to hitchhike.
I'm good.
I hitchhiked here today. Did I tell you?
What?
Yeah, Bryson and I.
We saw a
legit
video.
Hitchhiked.
I didn't see the video.
First try. First car drive by. I stuck my thumb out. Joking, Bryson's like, dude, stop. I stuck my thumb out and
I never even
smiled.
said stop.
Yeah, you did.
No, I didn't.
You're like, dude, don't do that.
I was definitely
And then,
laughing.
and then the
uncomfortably,
car
but I didn't
drives
say
by,
stop.
so I thought they were just going to keep going. And I looked back, and Bryson was like scared. He goes, dude, look. And I turned around, and the car stopped reversing.
What kind of car
Ford
was it?
Explorer.
Nice.
He was a
What year?
cool-ass dude. It
Newer?
was new. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you said it was a great.
Well, I mean, it could have been old, and that would have been sketchy.
He was so
sure.
cool. Dude, the guy was so cool. And, like, he found out he was only taking us half a mile, and he started laughing. I was like, dude, you could have walked. I was like,
Bryson came in clutch videoing that, by the way.
I told him.
That's
to love it.
hilarious.
Oh,
I love it.
good
All
job,
right,
team.
that was good. That was good live.
Good experience.
Oh, yeah.
Start.
I'm promoting us on
Welcome
my
back.
Instagram right now.
I'm your
Awesome.
host,
Oh,
CJ De
hello,
Palma,
I'm
with
your
the better
Welcome
host,
back.
Claire Bays,
Perfect. Claire,
and the Degenerates.
Oh.
the degenerates.
I almost put you as Tay Tay, and I was like, I don't think we're that close
Well,
yet.
if you call us
I don't know about that.
deplorable, I can just call you. Oh, that didn't work. If you call us deplorable, I can just call you Hillary Clinton. Not that would be nice. Do you get that reference?
I don't.
We're live. Join
Yep.
us.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know
Join us.
to us or to Claire.
Deplorable.
I know, but who would you? Oh,
Some
I got
Hillary
it.
Clinton
I understand.
reference.
Yeah.
I understand.
She
Okay.
used that
She
term
did
for
use that term.
everyone who
Right.
basically voted for my new king.
Does it kind of save your guys' skin a little bit if you call
Wait,
us degenerates? and
Greg's
it's
not
like-
your new king? I guess he's your
it's like
state
both
king.
sides
No,
of the
it's-
DJ, T, baby.
boy,
Sorry.
oh boy, DJ. Does it save our skin? I don't know. Ben, I mean, we obviously had you guys on before, and I mean, I think we're at a point now where I think people just are. We were talking about it last night, right? Of like being offended, like asking yourself that. I just think like that whole concept and culture that we're moving generally as a society, at least a little bit away from.
Trump's America.
And so I mean, WODprep is apolitical, right? Like that's where we stand in
for
general.
sure.
And so, but it's not like it's fine.
And I think
fine.
also people can distinguish the fact that we share beliefs.
your
Souza, Bryson,
beliefs?
and I, we all
Oh.
share the same beliefs exactly. But those don't.
in your aperture.
But those don't apply necessarily to anyone else. So
Yeah,
now
sure.
you guys can separate that. We're different. We're
Yeah,
different.
It's fine.
We're unique.
Yeah.
It's
And if
America.
we didn't, or if we did, it is what it is.
Actually, I already told Souza this, but someone sent a DM earlier today and was like, I hadn't heard of you before, whatever. And I was like, well, if you don't hang out on the WODprep channel, you may not. I'm newer here, whatever. Anyway, and they were like, yeah, I hang out on Barbell Spin and Savon, and no judgment. And I was like, yeah, I'm not judging. Those are great shows. Know?
Whatever.
It's
No
funny.
judgment.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
That's crazy.
Well, you're polarizing over there.
I am?
Whatever. Who said that? Souza?
No, Taylor.
Souza's
Okay, oh, yeah, no,
polarizing
you
as
were-
F.
You
Yeah,
are very
he's just more
polarizing,
polite
Taylor.
about it. He's just more
No.
polite about it.
Honestly, Bryson, you are quite polarizing at times as well.
I
Yeah.
mean, I think
Bryson, I embolden him. The way
100%.
Sevon emboldens me,
100%.
it is
It's not
such
even
a horrible
question.
cycle of like when I'm around Sevon, I cannot help it. And it's not even a bad thing. I just feel so unlocked. It's like I have permission to be
Exactly what Dave said.
who I've
what
always
Dave has
wanted to
said.
be. Who I've always
That's
wanted
Oh
to
yeah,
Savon
Dave
is-
said that on a week in review, didn't he?
Well, he said it a couple times. Every time he's been on Savon that you've been brought up, he's like, "You made Taylor."
It's funny. It's funny because Dave wishes he had our emotional freedom and our, I would say, verbal free. He wished, hey,
fair.
Dave
wishes he could
killed,
say it.
and this is going to be polarizing. Dave killed people for our freedoms. And I'm glad we have people that do that. And now he's in a position where he can't even exercise them the way I can.
I don't
Right.
feel like that's polarizing in any way. Is that?
It shouldn't be. But I'm just
shouldn't be,
saying, he
but it
wishes he
is.
could say what we could say, baby.
Except
And
a little bit.
maybe one day Dave will own CrossFit and we can, implement Souza's $1 billion plan. Well, actually, we'll put Dave in like his little, we'll put a collar on him and it'll be a looser collar than he has now.
You're gonna give him a longer leash? Is that what
Every-
you're saying?
every
Just
time
slightly
I-
longer leash.
Every time I talk to Dave, I have to apologize for things that I say on shows like this. He's like, dude, I don't care about any of that. So every time he says that, I go a little further.
Right. At some point, I'm like, okay, I
You're
accept your
extending
apology.
your own leash.
Yeah.
Oh
So you're
my
just
gosh.
testing the waters and like when you can actually ruffle his feathers.
I want to sit around a campfire with him and play guitar and tell jokes and just see.
I feel as someone in the military for as long as he was and where his focus was, I guarantee all the jokes have been said. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I don't think they have campfires at retirement homes though.
right,
They're not
is
allowed
he that
to.
old?
That seems dangerous.
Yeah.
Is he that old? How
Well,
old is Dave?
He said he has dementia last
Yeah.
night.
Oh
That's
yeah.
what
I
Bryson
think Dave's
said.
like 47 though, or something like
Right.
that. Like,
I
he's not
honestly
even that,
think
he's not
that
even
I
old.
think the auto pen's been programming the CrossFit games.
Oh my
Crazy,
God.
bro. Oh, sorry.
Oh my
That's the
gosh.
best take that has been had on a podcast in recent history.
That's
Which
really
one?
Good, actually.
The auto pen?
The auto pen's been programming.
Yeah,
Mm.
AutoPen programmed the 2025 CrossFit Games.
And the open.
Damn.
Oh, definitely the Open.
Hey, that's crazy. We should, they should have a little asterisk underneath main site and just say programmed by AutoPen.
Okay, wait. So
Sorry.
That's fine.
I'm gonna pivot us. So Souza, you did your talk yesterday. You did your talk today. You edited your talk for today based on the conversation that was had last night. You just decided to share some of that information with the people here. How'd that go?
Better than I thought, surprisingly. It was interesting because I like the original talk about like the contents, all that stayed pretty much the same. But at the end, after we gave away like the free resources, I was like, okay, 2 options. You guys want to hear me pitch as if I were to own CrossFit? What would I do? Or do you want to go into Q&A? And so they were like, pitch. And the whole crowd kind of like yelled it. And I was like, okay, cool. The whole crowd, like, I don't know why I say it that way.
They
It's
said
just
pitch.
No,
and they
hey,
were
they
calling
said
you
pitch.
bitch.
It
It
was
is
a
a
crowd.
whole crowd.
crowd of people. And then I added 3 slides. The first one was what we had talked about last night, where the tagline of like CrossFit as a fitness company is overvalued at 200 million, but as a healthcare company is undervalued at 200 million. And then the second slide was this AI generated picture of like what CrossFit HQ, the Mecca, would like look like. And then
This is the one you put on Savon. I feel like I saw it somewhere.
I posted it
was
on my
somewhere.
Instagram
Okay.
a while back, and then I just took that one and added it to a pitch deck. And so I gave the whole entire like Barstool Sports. I actually added a lot of what Taylor had said with like the accountability from the top, like people that like you know what job they're doing and who's responsible for it. And I think that you have extreme accountability with CrossFit. Like we all expected to do the workout, do all our reps, hold the standard, kind of log your score at the end of the day, good, bad, or different, right? And I think that definitely needs to be showcased from the top down, and having that accountability will just push us towards excellence.
Mhm.
So I talked a little bit about that, about the media strategy, and then a couple of the other courses that I would add in. And then the last slide was just the 4 pillars that I think would be the essential business model, which is the media side of things. Because I honestly think the media could be itself funded running thing that could be a very large revenue stream
Sure.
if it's done correctly.
Yep.
And then the affiliates themselves, how we transform them into health centers. Like what does that rise in education level need to look like from an affiliate owner standpoint to a coach's owner standpoint, to how do we develop partnerships and relationships with healthcare providers. And then we talked about the actual healthcare market and the opportunity there with crowdfunded health to opt out of the system. And then the last piece was just the tech, which I actually just put CrossFit, the logo, and then the search bar underneath it, saying that we would have our ability to search anything in terms of exercise science or anything we need to know related to health, but it would be free of corporate interest and government corruption in terms of the information that you're being given.
So on that note, just I was thinking about this last night. How do we? Obviously, it's just a different form of controlling the information that people are seeing. So like, who decides that? You know
So-
what I mean?
Yeah, so there's like JAMA's like the biggest like medical where all the medical journals go and all the studies go and all of that goes. So I would simply program that AI to be pulling from that, the CrossFit Journal, other sources of information that we know are unbiased and of truth. And then that way, as it's feeding that from that information, we know where it's coming from, not just pulling from Reddit or Wikipedia like most
Sure.
AI does.
Okay.
And then the second piece of that is I would use just the same way that is within the methodology, which is the inputs and the outputs. So as we started to develop more blood panels, as we started to partner with like SugarWOD, WODify, all these things where we actually had a bunch of data and metrics, we would also plug that into it as well. So then you could understand like what is happening from a work capacity being increased to biomarkers that we're seeing change over time. So you would take the age versus the power output equation and the health curtain that comes out. And I think that you could actually have like data points on all of that, where over time it would start to be able to implement your age, all these different factors, and give you like these health scores. And so that's where all the information would be pulling from.
Cool. Got it.
So how was that received today?
I got a round of applause.
There it is.
It's
Yeah,
kind
which
of
is cool.
epic.
It was interesting because at the end I was just like, I made the joke and I was like, investors, possibly you, but
Right.
I was like, yeah, and that's the pitch. And like instantly everybody like clapped for it, which was really cool. Because I've never really had like feedback on that, to be honest, like outside of a small group of people that I've talked to with it. It was like you guys the first time. So it was really cool to get buy-in from these two over here and then from you guys as well.
Yep.
But to be able to deliver that to affiliate owners, have them kind of clap, kind of sit there in awe. There was like hardly any questions about media content strategy after that. Page to have a few of them, especially one that had owned a gym for a very long time, come over and say, this is exactly like why I showed up here, to hopefully have some sort of optimism and some sort of direction towards the future that fires me up to get back into my gym after coaching for 10 years, to know like, holy shit, we're headed somewhere and like it's going to make a massive impact. And there's kind of that element of anti-establishment with it as well.
Yeah, their affiliate is no longer on life support.
That's right. Yeah.
Right.
And we're giving them a vision. Like that's the most important part.
So can I talk about your meeting last night at dinner?
Yeah.
So you chatted with Tom and Jen from Community Care and Medical Society, like
Who we just had on.
Can we talk about that conversation? And like, I assume that like, that is obviously it is one of the pillars, right? Like what they're doing, this crowdfunded healthcare, right? Is there like, how did that conversation go? Did anything else get sparked? Like, did anything change, or, like, did it further your thought processes in general?
Yeah. I mean, Tom and Jen, to just be, totally transparent, like they were really a catalyst that helped me kind of refine this quite a bit, even prior to the meeting last night. So yeah, chatting with them about, okay, what are the steps that every affiliate needs to do to start to slowly move themselves towards a health center? What does that look like? What resources would they need? How do we give them the biomarkers? Most importantly, how do we give them the education on how to read that or establish the relationships? And basically the consensus of that was, we're going to do it with CrossFit Livermore. I'm going to document a ton of it. I've actually started filming like our version of Killing the Fat Man, series 2 with one of our members. They agreed to give them all the blood panels. We're going to bring a phlebotomist in. We're going to do that with a lot of the members. Any ones that are willing to share, we'll capture all that. And then I'll talk about and document our process of converting it from where CFL is now to this prescription fitness model that is moving towards a health center. So that way it showcases, but we could also give people the education on how to do that in their own gyms and what steps they can start to take to do that now. And they'll be a major, contributor and partner with that as well.
Sure.
Yep.
Cool. That's it.
I love it.
Yeah,
Okay.
100%.
Do you want to move on to other stuff?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Thank you for that, by the way. That was really, really, really fun. I'm still going to go back and listen to last night's show just to get more.
Now ask Taylor who he voted for. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Kamala, what do you mean? Kamala
I
Harris.
could never guess.
Could never guess.
Yeah, wouldn't be too sure.
I voted for the auto pen.
Where do you want to?
Oh, someone said Sentinel's auto pen.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was Caleb Beaver.
Yeah.
He's an idiot.
Oh, got it. It's not.
Yeah.
They also called me
this is
Matthew
a-
Hermosi.
It's a question on here, and we haven't done a lot of like good chat interaction, and you guys are programmers. And so how long before AI starts being leveraged for programming, if not already?
It already is.
It is.
It's being
Okay,
leveraged for
so-
programming in a massive way.
Right. So, where do you think it is, and how do you think it integrates into the CrossFit space?
I don't think it
It
does.
shouldn't. Yeah.
It's a lot longer road for AI to do that.
I don't think
sure.
I don't even know that it should. I view programming a little bit differently than I think a lot of master trainers view programming. And I view it in the sense that, in the level 1, we're taught virtuosity and doing the common thing uncommonly well, and how you can always work for an extra quarter inch of, external rotation in the overhead squat. I see programming the same way. You can always work for a little bit better of a stimulus, a little bit more complementary of a movement pattern, a little bit easier for the newer athlete to get intensity, a little bit more creative, a little bit more engaging, a little bit more friendly, fun, exciting for people to do the workouts. And I think you only get that with the human element of creativity. And obviously, if you don't have experience, you're not just going to have all that stuff. So you need a lot of experience. And that's one thing that AI makes a lot easier, is you can just input millions and billions and trillions of workouts into AI, and then it has all that experience, but it will never have the creativity. And I can tell you there are a ton of people here who have an insane amount of experience, as much experience as you could possibly have in the CrossFit space, and they suck at programming.
Sure.
They can't program a workout that gets people excited to save their life. And then on top of that, so I think in that sense, and obviously this is it's my business. And so, maybe I'm naive in thinking that AI doesn't have a place. I think if AI has any place in programming, it is pointing out shortcomings of my programming. It's saying, hey, here's 3 months What have I missed? But even then,
an analysis.
right,
Right.
I would
That's
say
totally objectively.
yeah,
Right.
objective, and I would say in that sense, it could be pretty powerful.
Sure.
It asks so many questions, you know. So yet again, I haven't gone to it for that
Yeah.
type of stuff, but I use it for all sorts of different things, and I love how it makes me think about things that I don't think about until it asks the question.
I am also not a huge fan of at least the AI models that are out now, because they're programmed by people with inherent biases.
Yeah.
And like there are things
sure.
there are things you can ask it, and I know you can put things in a vacuum, but it's still been programmed by people.
Yeah, and I think that all kinds of art can be different, and I see programming and writing workouts similar to less like a painting where it's completely subjective. Like, you know, someone could splatter paint on the wall and it sells for $1 million or whatever. I see it more like movies. That's where, hey, there's an objective side of it where it's like, hey, is there a rising action, and a resolution, and like the perfect climax, and there's an introduction in the beginning of the movie. Those things are kind of objective, and then the rest of it is really subjective on if you like the movie or not. But something can be a good movie or a bad movie on paper, and then someone could have different opinions about it. So I see writing workouts a lot like that, where there's things that AI could learn. You know, eventually, like it could know, hey, more often than not, we're going to use complementary movements. Sometimes we'll use redundant movements. We're going to do these types of rep schemes that you see a lot in CrossFit, but I don't think it could ever learn the subjective things the way that people just know what's going on in the CrossFit space. Like, hey, they just did crossovers at the games. Everyone's a little bit high on them right now. What's something we haven't done since 2015 regionals? Like, just bringing things back like that, and things that people aren't doing recently. And those little nuances, I don't think you understand. And there's a lot of the subjective part of it that it won't. And yeah, maybe the objective part of it, like it knows, hey, if you're doing thrusters, we're probably going to be doing like a pulling movement they do that a lot in CrossFit, but they won't ever get, hey, we do that too much. Like maybe we need to stay away from that right now and do something they've never done with thrusters before.
And that's the key. And here's the key element is AI is built within a vacuum of what has happened in previous experience.
Right, exactly.
And the entire aim of CrossFit is to chase that new and unique stimulus.
Yep.
So that's, I think, one main shortcoming. And I would say beyond that, if AI ever evolves to the point where it can be autonomous and independent and creative, we have much bigger issues as a society than, and I really mean that. Like we will begin to replace the human element and the magic that is an affiliate. You go into a CrossFit affiliate and work out with your buddies because of that camaraderie and that excitement and the joy and everything that we've abandoned so much as a Western culture. CrossFit brings that back, and AI is kind of the anti to that stuff.
So my question was 100% that, and it was more, so you made an initial statement, it's being utilized already.
People use it to write workouts already
for sure. Yeah. I mean, I've certainly been like, hey, write me 10 CrossFit workouts just to see what happens. Like we have a learned one with like the L1 OPEC stuff. Like we've built it, right? And you know, have I ever taken anything directly? No, I don't think so. I've certainly been like, oh, I like that pairing, or I like that rep scheme, or whatever it is, right? You know, and so I think my question progresses. Where do you think it's being utilized a lot now? Like not even in the CrossFit space. I think aerobic stuff that's like very set. Here's the test. Here's your objective. Like here's your pace. Like here's the 5K run. You run this. Here are your splits based on, you know, like whatever it is. Here's the split you're going to do. Here's the progression. Here's 8 weeks. And I think because CrossFit is an unknown and a noble, and there's like this, like what's coming next and we don't know. I think it at least hedges us as programmers and coaches longer down the road. I don't know if it's a forever thing or whatever it is. Like you said, if it ever gets to that point where it's like really being predictive and et cetera, and it's et cetera. And just for you guys. And so I think we have bigger problems on our hands too. But with this question, we had Hinch on yesterday, and he was talking about high rocks. I think it plays extremely well. Right? You have this goal, you want this time. Here's your run paces. This is where your machine paces need to be based on all of these. And they have literally every data point ever from anyone who's ever run a high rocks event is in one database. Right? So you can do a lot of predictive stuff and grading. And so I think high rocks.
Problem with that data is it's all flawed because they can't standardize the ranges of motion.
Well, for sure. Okay. And so
You're not
Fuck
wrong.
High
I get what
No.
you're saying. No, I get, and
And
I
so
don't think
I
fuck
think-
out, but
I think it's further down the road for us, not as far down the road for something that is extremely predictable, like track or
it's
EP.
here.
It's
Yeah, it's here for those things. But again, what you are missing is the human element of coaching. And sometimes it's not just, hey, you need to run it at 7:55 and you're running at an 8, but you can tell your athlete's not responding to that stimulus or that requirement that you've given them.
Mhm.
And AI can't recognize
Right,
that.
right.
I also
Well, and that will occur being a remote programmer too. I mean, if you can't have your eyes on your athlete, then you can't see what they're not telling you either.
Yeah,
you know? And that is what it is. But
I think it's really easy to forget because of how much it seems like it is that AI isn't like, it's not thinking. It doesn't know what it's doing. It is just
if
information.
you ask AI, should I get the COVID-19 vaccination? I know this is polarizing, but it'll tell you to get it. I mean, AI essentially, there are like things like that where, hey,
it will.
just
Oh,
because
100%.
just because everyone has done something, it's like,
Will Gronk say that, by the way?
It's just taking
I don't know.
what is said more often than not, or
Right.
taking an average of everything that's out there. So
Right.
it's not thinking.
Yeah, summation
So
of like
even
the
with
top
something
results.
like a high
Right.
rocks, if you're trying to get it to write you a workout to get better at high rocks, it's taking the summation of every high rocks workout that it has access to,
Yep.
when each one of those might have a different purpose, and just putting them all together, like just nullifies basically what you're trying to achieve in each specific one. One might be for, hey, I need to get my 1,000-meter row pace up once I'm finished with this part of the race, or whatever it is. I don't even know the order of the movements in high rocks, but each one could have a specific intention, and all AI is going to do is just take the summation of everything that's out there and give it back to you, and it can just destroy the intended stimulus of all those workouts by just mushing them all together.
What people in the fitness industry hate, and they probably don't even realize this, is that Greg changed the fitness industry from groupthink and just this regurgitation from everything you had heard ever before to creative consciousness. He introduced this idea. I mean, it's completely revolutionary, and AI is not creative consciousness in any way. And so, and that was my point, is when it gets to that point, which if they continue going at some point, it will, it's kind of inevitable. We're in trouble. I also think that I almost resent AI because of how the lies we've been told, especially with my generation, of, oh, you got to get into coding, you got to get into tech, like you got to go to school for this. It's exploding. It's exploding. And now we're here, and all of those kids who have gone to school for tech and coding and all these things, you're out of a job because AI can do what you do infinitely better and not make mistakes.
Yep.
And it's just,
well, one piece I would like to add about the AI is, like, rather than what it's going to replace, it's like it takes a lot of monotony away from a lot of the things that we do in the gym.
Mhm.
So utilize that to your advantage. I was talking with somebody after the talk that I had in there, and they were asking the same thing about the AI and the programming. And I said, well, before you go into that, do this. You could type into it your local grocery stores, and it'll pull from different inventory lists, and it'll pull from the databases that it has there. And you could say, write me 10 recipes that are high in protein, low in carbohydrate, have no sugar. Here are the different goals that I'm trying to hit. And it'll spit out a whole entire meal plan for you. Now you could do that in seconds, and you could customize it to each one of your members. You could also build out these free templates. You could do the same thing with gas stations near you. I did it for the firefighters, and I took the 3 main fast food places that they go to, like McDonald's, Jack in the Box, Taco Bell, or whatever. And I said, give me, not Taco Bell, that one probably didn't fit, but I said, give me the high protein meals off of this menu that are low in carbohydrate or have no processed carbohydrate in it. It spit out like the 3 things on the menu, and I was able to give that to them really quickly. The other thing that I did is I took a week's worth of the programming that I did for my gym, and you have to prompt it. Your responses are only as good as your prompts. So that's something you have to keep in mind. But I put into it, make a lesson plan following the level 2 CrossFit guidelines, utilizing the L2 manual, build me lesson plans for these set of workouts, keep the warm-ups unique, but have them focused on mobility and like joint mobilization, everything else. And then it spit out a whole week of lesson plans within like, a second. Now, were they perfect? No, but I was able to go in there and make different edits super quickly. And now you have lesson plans built out for your coaches for the whole entire week, right?
Sure.
Done in seconds. So finding different ways like that, where you could leverage the monotony of the work, where the data that you're going to receive is correct, or you could quickly look over it for any errors, and then do that to add more value to your members. And one thing too, I'd like to say about the value. I did a thing called operational definitions in my talk, because a lot of time we use these words like value and we don't have definitions to them. So I'd like to say that value is delivering a result or dream outcome to an individual. So if you want this result of like having a meal plan so it's easy for you and your dream outcome is to lose weight, that's how you add value, by providing that solution for them. Just so I don't get in trouble for being called Matthew Hormozy because I said the word value.
Matthew Maliosa.
You've been called
Gobbledygook?
Hormozy twice so far.
Yeah.
Same guy. Doesn't
That's
count.
good. It's gotten better.
Cool.
Yep.
What else?
On that topic, yeah,
No.
I don't know that I have much.
That was a good question.
Yeah.
I just thought it was like a good
I mean,
topic. Have you guys on to talk about it.
Yeah, I like not for programming specifically, but I like the idea of using it too. I mean, like if you so your values, right? Like within your affiliate, there are things that you think are most important to focus on, and everyone's a little bit different, and we're all under this umbrella, and we have our different flavors of it, right? And so utilizing that tool to be able to free up some of your energy to focus more of that energy on moving the needle on the things that you feel are more important for your energy to be towards. You know what I mean? Like that's what that sounds like. It's like you don't feel like it's quite as important for you to scrutinize every little detail of a warm up, and you're open to some help there, because then you can focus on whatever it is that you feel is going to drive your mission forward further, faster, better.
And if you prompt it with the L2 handbook, like you'd be surprised as to like actually how scary accurate it is.
Yeah.
Like when you look at it and you're like, oh wow, this is something that I would do, or very
but don't
closely to it.
don't ask it to read it to you verbatim, because it won't. It will start doing its own thing. I've tried.
Yeah.
It just decides how to read it to me differently. Anyway.
All right. So what did you guys attend today? Did you guys attend anything today?
No, Bryson
No.
and I didn't get to attend anything. We did a morning podcast with Sevon, and then we did some work with Todd Acuto and Kristen Bowen for the coach's eye and the knowledge stuff. And then we bought a jump rope from RX Smart Gear.
Nice.
Ate lunch.
Ate lunch. Now we're here.
Cool.
You
Awesome.
guys?
We've been sitting here the entire morning.
Yeah.
Dude, we've had some wild conversations,
Yeah,
though.
they've
It's
been
been
good.
great.
Oh yeah,
Awesome.
let's talk about Henshaw.
Okay.
So we had Chris Henshaw on, and so me and Bryson talked about this. And Taylor got interrupted by my daddy's phone call, and he had to run away. And so, anyways, on our podcast, we talked a lot about heart rate training versus paces versus zones, etc. And a lot about etc. Thank you. So I'll work on it. Conversating.
It's not a word.
Exactly. So everyone just calls me out.
It's all good, dude.
My grammar's terrible.
He won't
It's
change
fine.
it.
I did.
Yeah, he's working on it. Hey,
Yeah.
sometimes you just need a little help being noticing it. So that's all good.
Yeah,
Well, no,
exactly.
you just told me that you wouldn't change it. But hey, if you will, love that for
When
you.
did I say that?
You
That's not.
literally.
Guys,
That's
stop
not
bickering.
true.
Stop
Anyway.
So we talked about heart rate, zones, paces, what's appropriate. Talked about Adler a lot, and so that sort of progressed into a conversation that happened directly off camera, because he was great. He was nice enough to come on, and I was like, hey, I didn't want to railroad you on the show, and so I asked him straight up, and I was like, you said something about heart rate and going into hot water and heart rate coming down, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And we had this long conversation, and the day before, and so I'll lay the framework for everyone listening. The day before the CrossFit Games, he was on with Savon and praised Dave.
The workout was incredible. Water temperature is going to be fine. These guys are fit. They're prepared, etc.
He had already known. He was coaching Lazar at this time.
What he also recommended strong swimmers do is run your essential 5K as fast and as hard as you can.
And he stood by that.
And he stood by that.
This weekend.
And so in our conversation, so after it came off, I was like, you had this conversation, you said all of these things, and then the day after, or whenever you went on Talking Elite and all of these other podcasts, it sounded like you walked every single point that you made the day before back 180 degrees. And he was like, I don't think I did that. And then we went into all of this physiological conversation of what the heart rate's doing when you get into hot water, right? No one is saying and so I'll walk through the physiological stuff. So basically what happens when you go from vertical to parallel, in general, the heart rate will come down no matter what. Okay. That makes sense. When you get in from running to water, the reason why you sprint is because you know the heart rate will come down naturally because you're getting into that parallel state. What people don't account for is the fact that warm water will still cause a perspiring internal physiological response, which is blood moving to the extremities. Okay. And so when that happens on dry land, what do? You get overheated and you just sit down, or you perspire and you slow down. You can't really do that in the water because you have to float and you have to stay above. And if that happens to a point of pure exhaustion, because there's so much blood in the extremities, then you get into muscular failure and you drown. And you don't do that when you run because you just sit and you stop moving. You can't stop moving in the water. And that's sort of what he said happened to Adler, right? He talked about that happening to Adler and having this weird blackout response of being disoriented and going off track and being in different directions. And so he stated, he was like very confident and very, like that's pretty much what he assumes happened to Lazar. And I was like, okay. And so I was like, but everyone in the public thinks that you said the water was too hot. He's like, I didn't say that.
Did you watch it back?
I didn't, but I know what he said because I remember yelling at the screen. I remember vividly. And so I was like, if that's not what you said, it is 100% how the entire CrossFit community interpreted it.
But it is interpreted it. But it is what he said.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
And then use those clips to railroad us into every other fitness avenue on the planet that picked it up and put it in whatever news source that they do. Like, here's their expert. This is what he said
for programming the workout. Can I go back to the physiological response?
Sure.
Why would you still recommend that an athlete run their fastest 5K and get into that water if you know prior to what the temperature of the water is going to be and you know what the physiological response to hot water is?
Well, I think I don't want to defend him. I'm just going to speak based on how I interpreted what he said. My other screen is because the heart rate will come down and the heart rate will continue to come down regardless of the water temp. That's not the affecting point of it. It's the fact that you are parallel and it will continue to go down for like 50% of the swim. And then it will sort of reach a baseline. And that's basically what he interpreted happened with Adler and then with Lazar. And that it's going to keep coming down. And I was like, that's a weird one. I was like, I feel like I'm working really hard and I'm struggling. My heart rate's still going to be jacked, but I don't know if that's
so. The heart rate did come, but hold on. He said, that this is what I'm trying to nail down. Is he said, we know that when you get into warm water and when you have this response where you reach muscular exhaustion faster because there's blood going to the extremities, et cetera, et cetera. So why would that still be your recommendation, is to reach muscular failure?
Sure. I think based on that, he felt prior to the event that
they were fit enough to handle that?
That the warmth of the water was irrelevant.
Okay. What I would appreciate hearing is and this is where I think we struggle from just what we heard on that first
100%.
show and that second show is, here's what I said. There's a massive dichotomy in what he said afterward. Let's just hear a candid, hey, I thought that would be a good idea. And you know what? Turns out men will die for points. And what I think happened, and I agree with Chris Hinshaw, is Lazar pushed himself to a point that he
100%.
thought he could handle, and he just couldn't handle that. And
Sure.
in water, it's fucking dangerous, and the safety personnel was not appropriate.
I think too that we're also ignoring an element of history with him, because we know that we saw, and I'm not like you, we never saw any sort of autopsy or if there was any sort of internal thing that was going on, but we do know at the Burj Khalifa, when he pushed himself and ran up those stairs, he struggled for a very long time and wasn't even able to lift his hands above his head and all this other stuff. So we know that there was some sort of history with him being able to push himself to a place where something was going on. And I'm not speculating or anything else. I'm just saying there could be elements of things we don't know.
Here's the thing.
Secondly, he was a high class, like he was like the high level water polo player.
Here's
so, like,
the deal.
His experience was insane.
Here's
in
the deal.
water.
It doesn't matter how fit he is. Some people, and I fall into that category, I can do things. I can push myself to a level that my body can't
Right.
Sustain.
sustain.
Right.
And maybe
Sure.
Lazar had that level of toughness. And the problem
I think
is
most people at the games probably are somewhere around there. Maybe not most, but I
close
think
to
there
it.
are certainly a lot of people.
Many.
Yeah.
And so if you know that there's a medical history there of something happening to him when he's able to push himself to that place, I'm just saying that maybe was either
Bad advice.
overlooked, or it was bad advice, or it was forgotten about, or it wasn't taken seriously enough, and then the repercussions were grave when it came
Right.
to the fact of it
And
occurring in the water.
And so we continued on the conversation, and I was like, you said it wasn't safe. What, he was like, well, prior to the event, I didn't have all the variables. And I was like, what does that mean? And he's talking specifically about safety personnel solely. And he feels that the only reason that it happened, whatever physiological situation happened, foul play or not foul play, or whatever speculation, whatever it is, there should have been more people on the water. There should have been certified people on the water with PFDs. And there's
no brainer.
Yeah. And so I was like, but that's not what you said.
Yeah.
And he was like, then I apologize. And he said that to me. And I was like, we really need to talk about this on air.
More people need to hear that. You need to, and it's just hey, and it's a tough pill probably to swallow for him, is that we are wanting it from him and we're not getting it from HQ.
Sure.
So he's like, well, fuck, why are you guys worried about me apologizing?
So this is the thing. In our conversation, he was genuinely aloof that the public had this view of what he said.
Most people are aloof.
And it's because he has a social media thing, but he doesn't run it. Someone else completely does it 100%. And he's like, I'm not even on social media. And I was like, you have a page that's like got a decent amount of followers, right? But he is not on social media. So he's like, why has no one ever asked me about these opinions? And I was like, I don't know. I screamed at the TV when you said it because I was floored.
Yeah, well, we didn't ask because we saw in long form two different things, and we just thought, we drew a conclusion that was pretty natural to draw because you gave us the conclusion.
Right. I agree. I mean, that's what I said to him. So anyways, he said I could talk about it on air, and
he waved at me. He waved at me the other day, and I, to be honest, before that moment, I respected him a ton. And
I'm 100%
one of his running workouts, like one of my favorite workouts. And when I won the run swim or the row swim run at Wadapalooza, he spoke highly of me, and that always feels nice to be stroked a little bit. So I mean, I respect him. I just
likes a good stroke.
Hey, just like everyone else, I just thought what was
doubt.
said before and after was kind of
wild.
Yeah.
Insane.
Match.
Yeah, it didn't match for sure. All right, I just wanted to get that out because I was super excited. He wanted to have that conversation with me. And
he seems like a guy who would want to have that conversation.
He 100% wanted to. I wish I would have done it on air after we had the conversation. But I didn't know how he was going to respond to it, and
didn't want.
So, all right, that was like the biggest thing that I wanted to have a conversation with you guys on.
Yeah.
What else we got?
I mean, other than that, I don't know. I don't know how much we want to go into it at all, and you guys have probably already talked about it. But we had a long conversation with Matt Torres earlier today, and so of course a lot of talk about Dallin and the season and the rhabdo and
what
whatever.
What did he say about Dallin getting rhabdo?
That in particular, we didn't focus on that a ton, other than the rundown nature of going in.
It was more of how did you know, and how did you guys process that it happened on the post end? Because he wasn't just like peeing brown, like it was like a systemic response that wasn't this acute response that he had. Or that most people have, right, when they have it. And
are they sure it was rhabdo? Did he get tested? And
he went.
They did blood work.
Yeah, they did blood work. That's
maybe that's what I got. I had systemic rhabdo after that quarterfinal workout. I was assuming it was lactic acidosis, where I had it was a few days before I felt like I could get back to normal. But I guess with Dallin,
that was crazy.
Were you there?
No, I was watching it on the airport at the airport because I had to leave early.
Was that the one where you fell off the box?
Yeah. And that was crazy.
That was funny.
I think
they almost called an ambulance.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So after it was over, you were just not okay.
For 45 minutes, I couldn't sit up. I couldn't. Yeah. It's crazy.
I think one of the things so rhabdo really falls within one thing, right? Your creatinine levels are massive.
Right.
And unfortunately, if even from your workout yesterday with 150 V-ups, if you got tested today, I'd just walked into the urgent care and got these it's not CRP. I don't know. It starts with a K. Anyways, these levels tested, they tell you have rhabdo, most likely, or that you are not in normal limits because or CRK.
The muscle breakdown.
The muscle breakdown. And so we stay in this general stent. One of my athletes, my oldest athlete, is a nephrologist. And so I'm like, hey, what am I looking at? Why is I had we did Nicole one time in the gym, and she was like 4 days in the hospital, right? Her arms were huge, right? And she for sure had it. But they wouldn't release her, and she was asymptomatic totally fine, no swelling, but her levels were so high. And he was like, they could have released her 3 days ago. It's just, we just stay in this inflammatory response from this muscle breakdown more often. Our kidneys work generally harder than regular population. And so I'm not saying that's not what it was, but that's probably a big driver of being tested weeks later and being diagnosed with rhabdo, because that's not how it works, right? In general.
Yeah.
I would expect, I didn't have like I've had way worse soreness than I had on that quarterfinal workout, but the best way for me to articulate the feeling that I had, and I'll start with kind of like a back history. I wasn't squatting high volume a lot because of my knee, but I still had like relatively good leg stamina, but amazing like metabolic work capacity. And wall balls and burpee box jump overs are things I'm like pretty good at. And I felt a point in the workout, and I had these, I'm like looking at the peripheral, I see these guys going next to me, and I'm like, ooh, I need to back off here, because I can feel myself filling up. And you feel that point in a workout where you feel like you have sledge, and like your muscles are just not responding at the speed that they normally would. And you can feel that, slow down, moving through peanut butter type feeling. And like, if you imagine like you're playing a video game and you have that character outline and they're filling up with red, the more you get hit, And I could like feel that happening in my body, like the red filling up. And then I could hear Lizzie and Bryson yelling at me like, don't slow down. And I'm like thinking, well, it's the last workout. I'm not going to slow down. I probably should. I might explode, whatever. And I like, I don't even know how to articulate it. Like, I just was so filled up with what I felt like was lactic acid that I couldn't get any oxygen to my muscles. And so like I jumped up to that box. I could barely pull my foot off the box. I fell over backward. Obviously, I thought I was moving fast. You watch the video, I'm moving so slow.
The fall over?
And after the workout,
it was like an old person falling over.
Sorry, I got to itch my ear. After the workout, I don't know, Bryson. I mean, it must have been 30 to 45 minutes where I was like not even responsive.
It was way longer than that.
Really?
Yeah. There was a really long, you got in the cold tub right away.
Which might have been a bad idea.
Yeah, that might have been a bad idea.
And you were like completely,
because if I'm not getting oxygen to my muscles, like
correct.
That's just gonna hurt
no more constriction.
Of course,
yeah,
of
you were
course.
like completely unresponsive, and then JR was like taking your pulse and stuff, and then JR told us to take you out, so we like lifted you out, and then you were like in the chair, like couldn't talk or move for like at least an hour.
That's wild.
Yeah, I wonder.
They were like a hair away from calling an ambulance, like 5 different times.
For sure. I
didn't.
wonder if like you had some form of like neurological event. You know what I mean? Were you responsive?
Like, was I retarded? No, I could actually talk. Like I could talk, but I was like unable to move. Like I just didn't have control, like my body.
Sure,
but I could think, and I
heat stroke.
What I think what happened is I looked up lactic acidosis or lactic acid poisoning. It's where you have a buildup of lactic acid that changes the content of your bloodstream so much, and you are so deprived of oxygen that even your brain doesn't have enough oxygen. And I think that's what happened is I had all the oxygen working so overtime going to my muscles that my brain wasn't getting enough oxygen that it needed. And so not only did I have like this massive like physical response in my skeletal muscle, I was like slow and sluggish in my brain too. And I felt all of that. And that's what, and Hiller thinks this is made up, and he's a fucking stupid idiot for thinking this. But if you look up,
he commented just now, by the way.
If you look up,
he commented?
No, I didn't.
Oh, he said lactic acidosis.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, if you look it up, lactic acidosis is a legit thing. Hiller, come on, look it up, dude. You're not even being open-minded enough to look it up, and that pisses me off.
So it sounds very similar to like what really high BAC would be. You know what I mean? And there's like those responses.
Blood alcohol. I felt like blacked out.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I was like, you just couldn't stay sober, huh?
I relapsed.
You just relapsed.
I relapsed on the pain.
On the pain. Lactic acidosis.
It's just hurting myself.
Well, yeah, the
so smooth muscle.
The topic of that, and then of course I asked about how the athletes that he does work with over the next calendar year 2026, do they think that they will compete as frequently as they have competed, considering how run down they are and how little time they are actually getting to progress and so on. And it sounded like it was, going to be case by case and still undetermined and so on.
Oh, that's crazy.
So-
Grant, that's not a real word. It's crazy because it's a real fucking term, Grant, you stupid idiot.
You want to give him
Hey,
the
I'm just gonna call Jenny and have her just pound you into oblivion again.
No,
Next
no
time you step
pounding.
out of the line.
No pounding.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, I think we do have to head to the
All right.
Yeah, I was
airport.
gonna say,
to
yeah,
see
you
the,
gotta go.
the
Yep.
Good
signal
stuff.
there. So
Well, hey, thanks.
Lactic acidosis, look it up.
It's real.
Most of you
Taylor
aren't
had
fit
it.
to experience it anyways. Good
Taylor
enough.
had it.
thank you guys.
Yeah.
Thank you for having us on and hanging out with us and
Yeah.
Good.
doing everything you guys have done here to promote the event and all the people. I think it's really important. And
Killing
oftentimes like we're in this media seat, and I know your guys' job is just to sit here and amplify everything that's going on. And I know that you're making millions of dollars doing it, so I don't feel that bad.
Tens of
Right?
viewers.
We're getting to
Yeah,
sit
yeah.
in a room full of people who are absolutely obsessed with the same thing that we're obsessed with and
That's
have
why we do
at-length
it.
conversations with like really smart people. So like,
Yeah.
yeah, we're good.
Yeah, this is
Awesome.
Yep.
awesome.
Yep.
Yeah. You guys are great. Thank you very much for everything you do.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
And thank
Yeah.
you for expanding on your, whatever we want to call last, what the press.
Vote for me. Vote for me for CrossFit CEO.
Vote Souza for Precipice.
Vote for Pedro.
I'm going to get a shirt made.
All right, guys.
Souza for CEO.
Souza for
Thank you.
CEO.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
like
yeah.
That one.
Yeah.
I like
Thanks,
that
guys.
one.
The
All right,
visionary.
guys. See you later. Thank you so much. Thanks for coming to the WODprep podcast. We are signing off, and we will not be back tonight. We are going to relax.
It is what it is. Boss
right.
said so.
Maybe tomorrow morning before we leave. I don't know what time our flight is. Oh, you're leaving tonight?
No.
Oh, you're not? All right, good. All right. Guys, thank you so much for hanging out for the weekend. That was awesome. Safe travels, guys. Good stuff. Thanks, Bryson. Do you want to stay on for like 30 seconds and just maybe like bring it down?
Bring it down.
Cool.
What was your favorite conversation that you've had all weekend? Pick one. Only one.
I was probably most geeky with Matt or Chris.
Souza? Or I'm sorry, Torres.
Yeah. But Matt's way more mindset driven than I anticipated.
Torres.
Matt Torres with his athletes, right? Which was cool to see. And so Kenneth, I swoon over anyone that's in program design because of what Taylor said of like all the nuance and all the variables and all the assessments and analysis that you can get from like someone hitting a pace or not hitting a pace or talking about their perception of whatever is happening, blah, 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 blah. It's how I get better. Like I get better through these conversations, right? And whether or not, and everyone here, see ya, trust Taylor as a programmer and some don't or whatever, but I can still learn a ton from him in everything that he does, whether or not we agree on an aspect or training design or an approach or whatever it is. Same with Torres, same with Hinshaw. And so I love talking programming. I wish people did it more. So I probably that. I don't know. Let me just chew on it for a bit. Last night's conversation was the most interesting to listen to.
Yep.
I don't think I was really a part of last night's. I think I asked the question and I got to talk about my experience with healthcare, which is pretty unique and far down the spectrum. But for the most part, it was just like stoking the fire for them to like do their thing.
Yep.
And that was cool.
Yeah. Fun meter. That was
for
high
sure.
because like the laughter was funny. There were a handful of people in the room as well, just kind of sitting around listening in, and it was just the amount of laughing that was taking place around us, as well as obviously on the screen, was really funny.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
The most profound is we could do like Rosebud Thorn for it.
We should do that for the weekend as a whole.
Live on the show.
Rosebud Thorn, that is it's something that WODprep does as a team. And so when we were at the age group games,
#thanks Nelson.
Yep. Thank you. Every team member, how many team members did we have at the age group games?
Eight.
Your coaches were there. Most everybody was there. There were 8 of us. Yeah. So anyway, at the end of every day, we would all get together and we would do a Rosebud Thorn, which was, what is the rose of the day, the thing that you are most stoked about, whatever went the best, whatever it was. And then the bud is what you are as a result of the experience you're having up to this point. What are you excited about that is budding? And then thorn, of course, is the thing that didn't go as well as you wanted it to, or whatever, that you didn't enjoy, you name it, right? So anyway, we did that every night, and then we've done that as well with Ben. We said we were going to get Ben on this weekend. I have no idea where he is.
Oh yeah, that's all right.
Anyway,
Fine.
yes, we did that last night as well with Ben. So before we do Rosebud Thorn, real quick, as far as favorites to speak to, for me, I will say that to me, what I look at these individuals that we've had the opportunity to have these conversations with all weekend as they are real life superheroes. You know, what
Sure.
they are doing, the way they are contributing to the space is, I said it on the previous show, remarkable. It's remarkable. And so you get to sit down with all these people and remarkable individuals and have conversations. And so across the board, I'm stoked. And then from there, I would say, I guess if I had to pick one that's just kind of like up my alley, Jocelyn, of course, was great for me because I'm so focused on that.
I feel like
detail
you
of
and Jocelyn just like scratched the surface.
Oh,
I wish.
yeah.
I wish. I kind of wish. I wish we would have started at like the. Not to like say her backstory isn't interesting by any means. It's
it is
extremely interesting. I wish we could have started at like the 35 to 40-minute mark and progressed from there and just been fully in the weeds on additives and natural flavor, like just like all of these things that I think could be incredibly useful and educational because of someone who knows it on its most deep roots of contextual nuance and specificity and complicated concepts. She can bring it to the most digestible style for everyone to understand, right?
Yep.
She can take very complex ideas and information and put it for a fifth grader can answer, and that's what a level 4 stat. That's what staff does, right? And I think it was. I wish we could have just started there. I wish we could have just like bypassed the pleasantries and just like dove right in because I was really, not that I wasn't interested before, but I was really excited to listen to you two nerd the fuck out on that stuff, and that would have been cool. Other than that, it was a great conversation.
Yeah, she's very articulate, very well spoken, and she can definitely give you some different vocabulary to work with when speaking about these topics. So yeah, I really enjoyed conversing with her about a topic that I'm pretty passionate about, and we'll keep talking about it. I mean, we talk about nutritional thanks to me being on the show. You just kind of have to a little bit, so we'll keep talking.
No,
about
it's
it.
good. I was talking to who's standing right here, Tom, and
Medical Society Tom
McCoy. And he was just it was right after the podcast before Taylor and them came on, and he was like, thanks, you guys do a really great job. And then I was just complimenting, bringing you on, I think took us to another level. And while we are very similar in a lot of ways,
you and I,
I think how we interact and like where our brain goes in the podcast is very opposite.
Yep.
And we've very much organically learned to feed off each other, questions and riffing and bouncing ideas back and forth really quick. And so when someone's talking about a topic, we're both obviously digesting it and being very intent, but you're looking at it and you're digesting it completely different than my mind and your brain. And I think that really allows us to put on a really cool show.
Hopefully.
And get information out of people that maybe, that might not be pulled out otherwise.
Yeah, I hope so. Okay, so I took Rosebud Thorn. You want to go Rosebud Thorn? And thank you. It's been a blast.
Let's just because I mean it'll be the same thing that we talked about last night, I assume. And so let's just talk about your I don't know, favorite from today. Which one was your favorite today? And then one
conversation from today. We talked to Torres today. We talked to the Medical Society, which was Jen Pishko and Tom
Dave.
McCoy.
Don't forget Dave.
And we talked to Dave Durant. I wasn't done.
You
Sorry, I
skipped
didn't
him.
go in chronological order. My
Can't believe you
B.
would skip Dave.
Went to Dave Durant,
He's very well
which
spoken.
he announced such a big announcement for Power Monkey in the fact that they have a 3,600 square or 3,500. That's what I'm. Thank you. Yeah, that's a drastically different number. Jesus. 6,500 square foot facility being opened next year in Manhattan. What? that's crazy. So anyway, that was cool. And then of course the guys that just finished up. So of the conversations that we had today, man, I don't know. I mean, I thoroughly enjoyed each of them. Yet again, I would say the Matt Torres thing, it's a lot more of the programming side of things and so on that is like just really fires you up. And so I thoroughly enjoy it. And of course, the sports side of things for us, I'm deeply ingrained in and care a lot about and love spectating and all that. So it was still cool. But I think the standout for me would definitely be the medical society conversation, because it is taking the CrossFit methodology and giving us a toolkit to expand what we do in a way that is just so jarring that you think it's the knife salesman, that
sure.
literally it's just like, but wait, what you did and how and I mean,
But wait, there's more.
it's so simple that it just like, it's like, it can't be that simple. So anyway, that one's definitely,
I almost had a pterodactyl moment with them.
were you told the pterodactyl
Yeah,
story?
I almost did. They said something.
Oh yeah, because they grew 23% within the last 30 days.
No, they said something very specific about early on in the conversation about a gym member doing this, and then everyone sort of followed. I don't remember what it was, but
Okay.
And I almost said it, and I walked it back. So I was chuckling in my head.
Yeah, not telling the same story 3 times
That's all right.
in 24 hours.
It's fine.
Yep.
It's very appropriate. Anyways, it was great. I had so much fun this weekend.
Yep.
And it turned out, which I think it always does, especially when you're around, it just turned out way better than I anticipated.
Oh, good.
I don't know if it came together as I anticipated. I don't know. I mean, it did. I don't think it could have come together any better. I think the only person that I really wanted to have on was Jay. And we just never grew the balls to go ask him, basically.
Yeah. At times we got really close to approaching him one time, but he was in conversation, and I just really did not want to interrupt the conversation. So
I saw him this morning, and I should have just got up out of my chair and asked. And to be honest, right now, if he was coming on at 5, I would be totally stoked and ready to go. But I'm not super disappointed that we get to break this down and
look around.
Everything around us, you guys can't see, but everything is broken down. I guess this ended at 3.
Must have, yeah.
Yeah,
no,
must have 4. Yeah. There's probably one more session happening.
Jay DeCoon,
the head of affiliates. Would be nice to ask him what he does in the company and how he's progressed. He's super yoked. Did you see him this morning?
He was doing the workout.
Yeah, he's jacked.
Yeah, that was another one where I was like, do I interrupt? But then he kept doing pull-ups, and I was like, well, I'm not interrupting him during his set of pull-ups. So
he's like, hey, you want to come talk to us later? He's like, I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, they were strict, but yeah.
So.
Yeah. So no, we did not get to converse with him, but that would be really, really cool, because I'm with you. I'm like, what does it look like? What are you doing?
Yeah, what are you doing?
Yep. How do you feel about this?
What are you doing next?
But he did
Does Don Fall
show up
do
to
Is he around?
Yeah, but he did. Well, I think
Jenna says he's around.
Yeah, he is. I mean,
I know.
From what I see.
No, he is around for sure.
But I mean, he came and did the workout this morning at 6 a.m. with Mayhem did a workout, and he came, and it was a partner workout. And anyway, and then you team up, whatever. And so like he was there doing CrossFit.
Cool.
Yep.
Yeah, I think you have to be. Cool. All right, guys. Thank you so much for the weekend. You guys are the best.
Yeah.
For those that are hanging around, we're certainly not having 1,000 concurrent watchers, but it was fun. And for those that watched a lot or any or only here now, thanks again for being here.
Yes.
I can't say go Cowboys. I'm sorry, Jeff.
I can go Cowboys.
But go watch some football. Miami won yesterday, which I'm happy about. I don't even know who the Cowboys play, but
love that for you.
Odds are it's not going to go well, unfortunately.
They are in Denver, so they're playing Broncos.
Oh yeah, that's not going to go well. Maybe it will.
Be fine.
All
I will say the Denver Broncos. I went to one of the. Let's see here, because I follow. Let's see. It was whenever Baker Mayfield was playing for the Browns. We traveled a handful of times to go watch them. And yeah, it's been a few years, but one of the stadiums that we went to watch Baker play was Denver Broncos. They were playing.
Oh, did you travel around to watch Baker because you're Sooner or because?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Did you go to Oklahoma?
Back in a former life. No, that's the thing about Oklahoma fans. A lot of us don't go to school.
Yeah. Don't worry. There's a lot. I didn't go to Miami. So.
Yeah. So, but no, whenever I lived in Oklahoma and I worked in the real estate business, I did a lot more football spectating. Oh. So anyway,
What
Oh yeah,
happens when you live
that
close
was
to
the
a
stadium I
school.
went to, and I was like, you guys are this is so lame. Anyway, I was underwhelmed.
Oh, the like Broncos Stadium.
Yeah, well, because the stadium was fine, but I simply
Oh,
would
the
go-
fans.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
would
we're used to college
stand up a
football. It's
lot,
totally different.
and I was repeatedly told to sit down.
Yeah, it's different, especially Denver. Like now, Denver fans are passionate of like the West supporting fans.
Could've
Besides
fooled me.
maybe the Seahawks, like they're growing passion. Back then, they weren't that good yet, but they're kind of like consistently a little bit better. But yes, it's totally different than standing the whole time chanting whatever you chant as a Sooner. The entire 60 minutes of football.
Yes, I understand that, but even still, like, yes, I understand that college football, there's a difference. It's, they weren't in the SEC then, they aren't any, whatever. Anyway, we were still passionate before
Big
we were in
12
the
was
SEC.
super passionate.
It was, yes, exactly. Anyway, but I just was like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
When
for sure.
something worth standing up for would occur, I was told to sit down. Anyway,
Should we wait to break down till Ben comes? I mean, I set up this booth.
do you
so
anticipate him being here in the near future?
I think so. His thing should be done. All right, guys. We won't jibber jabber on here, gobbledygook on the show anymore. Thanks for the weekend.
Yes.
What a great one, Claire. Thank you so much for just being you and being here and just joining the squad and like taking my call and like maybe I guess I can do this podcast thing, like being totally unsure of the value you could bring and not to say that I knew, but I knew.
Not to say that I knew, but I knew. He's
I
over
did.
here forecasting my future in the CrossFit space ever since before we met.
Oh my gosh, but I'm so accurate so far. All right. So on that
No,
note,
I sincerely appreciate it from you. I've talked about it plenty,
I
but I do appreciate it a lot.
we make
It's
a
cool
good team
opportunity.
on this. And so, all right, guys,
Fun.
have a good weekend. Watch football, relax. We're going to do the same. And we'll see you guys on the next one. Have a
Thank
good one.
you.
Bye.